My name is Ryan Stewart. I'm the Director of Sales for PTI Security. And with me today is Nathan Davenport, PTI and StorLogix Guru and Product Manager. And collectively, we're here to talk about, sorry, froze up on me there for a second. StorLogix Cloud Platform, right? Access control you've been utilizing for decades through PTI. We'll give you kind of an overview of what StorLogix Cloud is, kind of the function of it, how it interacts with your system, as well as then Nathan will jump into the actual software, kind of drive us around for a little bit, show you kind of what it looks like, some of the features and functions and capabilities of it, and show you why it's the platform that you need to be on. So if you're not already with PTI, we look forward to the opportunity to bringing you into the family, and those of you that are on PTI today on the desktop classic version of StorLogix, this will be a great demonstration to you to help prove why we need to migrate you over to the cloud platform. Right, it's our go-forward platform for all future integrations, capability, features, and functions, and the best solution. So, I know there's a little bit of a lag on the screens on my side, so I'll kick us off here for kind of what it is. It's cloud-based, right? So as your access control software is similar to everything else in your life that's cloud-based. It gives you the ability to access it and take action from anywhere in the world, right? Especially if you have multiple locations. You don't need to be on site as you have for decades in the past to really know what's going on and to take action and be proactive and fix things that happen to need. So, and again, when we're going through here, Nathan will be able to show you some of that features of being able to hop around to different sites that you might own, kind of proactively see what's going on to take action, as well as give you the ability to, hierarchy and setting up your site correctly. So, without further ado and taking too much of Nathan's thunder, I'm going to pass him over to him, get into a little bit of the details, and then jump in the software and show you what it looks like. So, Nathan, I'll let you take over from there, and I will mute myself for now so there's no echo.
Awesome, Ryan. Appreciate that. I'm always super excited to talk about this because this is literally what I do for a living is work on this platform. And so I think one of the big things here is that we've kind of extracted the good things, the really, really good things that we've done well in the past with the classic on-premise software that we've had for 15 plus years. We pulled all that stuff out. We didn't want to reinvent the wheel. But we did want to provide a cloud-capable platform that is really required for any business operation in 2020, almost 2021 now. So these three things here are the value propositions that we really highlight, we really think is driving the value for you, for your operations. I'm going to quickly run through these, but also show you these in the software in just a second. But the main thing is access from anywhere. You have to be able to monitor your site 24/7 these days. So you need control, you need visibility, and you need to do it from anywhere you have your phone. Really, that's what it comes down to. If you have your phone, you can monitor your site, you can manage your site. Portfolio management, we all know, is a massive trend in our industry. It has been for a while, and it's going to continue. We can see more and more capital investment being poured into the industry, and so we know that the single site, maybe 2 or 3 site operators are going to be selling to larger portfolios, thereby creating a need to manage multiple sites in an efficient way. So we have some ways we have created in the software to help you do that, and we'll show you that as well. And then that last piece is the real-time visibility. You need icons, you need reports, you need an event log that's robust. You also need notifications because we realize people aren't going to be staring at a screen all day long. So they need to be notified when there's something important and when there is action that needs to be taken. So with that, I want to continue moving forward here. Let me switch slide. I also realize, unfortunately, you're not in StorLogix the majority of the time. The majority of the time, you're going to be in your property management software. And so a lot of the groups out there have been contacted about an integration with PTI. we've had a standing API for over 2 years now. And so we've contacted at least 40 different companies. We've been in different development sprints with them over the past 3, 4, 7 months even. And this is one of the ways we can integrate. There are multiple ways to integrate into our cloud software. This is just one that I want to highlight real quick. And we'll talk about the other one in just a second. But you can see Domico Cloud, DoorSwap, Sirisoft Connect, all 3 of these groups are complete. And there are actually a couple others now that I haven't listed here that are also in the complete column, which is really, really good to see. And so if you have that property management software, you're in good standing. You'll be taken care of just fine. The in development column's also very exciting because we have some of the bigger players there. You can see Yardi Breeze. Yardi is one of the largest property management software providers on the planet. They're in multiple sectors, not just in self-storage, but their self-storage product is called Yardi Breeze. So they're probably less than a month away now, maybe a couple of weeks actually, and then we'll be in beta testing. But the Center Shift is a part of Yardi, so they are also working hand in hand. And Center Shift has been in our industry for a long time. There's a lot of market share out there, so maybe some of you listening on the call are using Center Shift. And then SiteLink, obviously, that's the big one in our industry, the Storable Group. And so we've been in communication with them for a long time about this and are starting to head down that path, which is great because that'll provide cloud-to-cloud integration for the majority of the market instantly. And then CubeSmart, which is interesting because it's an operator, although I wanted to put it in there because they use a customized version of StorEdge. And they actually have started the integration process with StorLogix as well. So again, this is the cloud-to-cloud integration, meaning that the cloud server makes an API call to ours, and it's an instantaneous transaction. That is really the promised land where all these groups want to get to at some point. And so we'll talk about the other integration in just a second. You may be wondering, you're out of luck if you don't see your property management logo up there, but no, that's not the case. We can still take care of you. So in a second, we're going to talk about real quick the components. In a second, I will walk you through number 1, which is going to be each one of those value props in the software itself. The cloud adapter is actually something I wanted to highlight real quick because this is something that maybe system integrators might be interested in as well. If you know PTI hardware, the Falcon XT is our controller. It's kind of the brains of the operation, and natively it does not talk to the internet. So we had to have a way to retrofit that, but in an easy way, not some way where you'd have to call out a dealer or a system integrator to come out and change something on the board itself, but something that even folks that aren't necessarily technical could retrofit themselves and install. So we use a Raspberry Pi. It's actually a Linux-based computer, been around for a decade plus, very robust. And we updated the firmware with customized firmware for PTI's hardware. And we actually send you one of these on the day or prior to the day of cloud install. And on the day, our installation team will actually walk you through, or your site manager through actually plugging this up. And it's 3 cords. It's a power cord, an Ethernet cord, and then just the USB cord that we send you as well that plugs from the cloud adapter into the USB port on the Falcon. Very, very quick and easy, but you don't have to take notes. Again, we'll walk you through that when we help you install on that particular day. Number 3 is that secondary integration. And I wanted to call this out because I wanted to explain kind of what this is and how we're leveraging legacy technology that's been probably on your PC for years. So if you did not see your group in the cloud-to-cloud integration list on the previous slide, we would install what we call the Bridge app. And this is a temporary integration. As these property management groups develop into our API, we will have this there for you in the interim. And this runs as a service in the background, and it acts as the previous StorLogix interface. I'm not going to get super technical with you, but previously, let's just use this diagram real quick. I'll take a 30-second overview, but let's forget this right-hand side first. So on your local PC now, more than likely you have some kind of gate agent, some gate operator, gate client, maybe call it a bunch of different things, but it basically is depositing a flat file change into a specific directory. If you're not using PTI software, most of the legacy software use this same process, just because every property management group has created this over the years. And then the actual software that runs locally on the PC is just processing this change. It's just looking at this file all day long when it sees a change. So John Smith was onboarded. His code is 1234. He comes back in the next week and wants to change it to 1235. Well, that new change is now in this directory, and the software sees it and processes it. So we knew as an interim, this may be something we would have to leverage. So when we install Cloud for this secondary integration, we actually remove classic StorLogix or your previous access control software that you were using, and we install the Bridge app. And this is a little client. Like I said, it's a service that runs in the background. You would never even know it's there. You don't have to have it open on your screen. It just does what it needs to do in the background. Well, it looks at the same file, and then when it sees a change, it makes an API call up to the cloud servers. And it's that fast. It's a matter of 1.5 minutes to maybe 2.5 minute transaction at the most. And it is just leveraging that same existing technology that's been around for 15 years. This is to get us through the night. We knew that property management groups have their own motivations, right? They're a business like we are. They're motivated by revenue. And so if they don't have a revenue reason to start a development effort, they're not going to do it. And that's understandable. But we knew we couldn't wait around forever as well. And there's some good technology that we could take advantage of. And so this was one of the things that we wanted to do. We have a large group that are using this integration to date right now, actually, and it's working great for them. You may be thinking now, this secondary integration seems like it's making me stay on the PC on my property, and that's the whole reason why I want to go to cloud, is to get off the PC. Well, that's awesome. You can actually still do that. This is not bound by location. So you can actually have a PC or a server in Australia, and you can run a site in California. The only requirement is that both the gate agent and the Bridge app are on the same PC or same server. You can run a single server for multiple sites. There's a lot of different ways to do it. If you had questions, you can reach out to us and we can kind of talk through the options. But that's the good news, is that we have, even if your property management group isn't integrated just yet, cloud to cloud, we can still take care of you with an integration that's seamless. So really good to see. So I've asked I've mentioned a ton of different points here. If you have any questions, please feel free to write them in the chat. We'll kind of take a look during the presentation, and Ryan, I know, will stop me if he sees anything that we need to go ahead and tackle. All right. So this is the high-level PTI ecosystem. I just wanted to quickly show you how it all fits together, so you can kind of make sense of it. On the left-hand side is all the hardware. You can see our controller, keypads, even door boss up there in the top left. The cloud adapter is right in the middle. You see that plugs into the Falcon. And then when you do that, it opens up that whole right side, which is kind of our SaaS universe. You can see StorLogix Cloud. We have the mobile applications on the bottom, and then the property management software that's integrated through a REST API. And we don't have to get into the details here. I just wanted to kind of show you how it works out and how it all fits together. But I did want to spend 1 second. This is the last slide before the demo, the live demo. I wanted to show you a couple of value propositions for each one of these mobile applications, because I think this is kind of a hidden gem in this offering. These two are very valuable. You can certainly differentiate yourselves with these, if not even provide an upsell for the Easy Code mobile app. But starting on the left, StorLogix Mobile 2.0 is the version that is now offered with the cloud platform. 1.0 has been around a long time. This is the 2.0 version. So that is something you would get with this offering. And it allows you to do things like open doors and gates. You have the ability to see every event on your property in real time through the event log. Alarms will come through. You can control DoorBoss manually, so you can actually control a specific unit's overlock, which is really cool through that mobile app. And then push notifications. That is huge. You can actually select what notifications you want to opt into. You can turn them all off or turn them all on, or anything in between. So there's a lot of really cool things there. And then the multi-site, you can flip through with 2 clicks to your very next site that you want to take a look at through the phone. I would strongly recommend any owner operators that are out there to have all of your managers learn how to use this, because it can drastically enhance the efficiency of your operation, and no more driving down to the site at 10 p.m. when a tenant may have forgotten their code at the gate. So a lot of good reasons to download that and use it daily. Easy Code has been around for, I think, 3 years, maybe 4 years now. It's the tenant facing mobile app, and it provides obviously things like contactless entry and exit. It is proximity based, so your customer wouldn't be able to open and close the gate from their house. They would have to actually be on the property in order to see the buttons appear on their phone, and then open or close the doors and gates they are allowed to control. The activity log is also really key, I think, because it allows the tenant, they're going to be sharing their codes with family and friends, so they can see a running log of who's been on the property, when, what they did. It's a good kind of audit trail for them internally, just to make sure if anything goes missing, they know who was on site, and can kind of go from there. But unit alarms would be taking that even a step higher, because you can pair that with email and SMS notifications for your tenants. So if their unit is open but they are not on the property, they'll actually receive an email or an SMS notification stating just that. So there's some good peace of mind there. You can obviously turn all that off if you don't want them having the notifications, but that is an option for you. And then obviously if DoorBoss is a part of your facility, that is something that they control. When they open that front gate, the DoorBoss starts to retract. And when they leave, it goes right back. So a lot of cool things there with both mobile applications. And again, I think that's a really, really good pairing for that offering as a whole. All right. So this is, I know why you folks were here. Y'all wanted to see actually under the hood and take a peek at the software itself. So we'll run through several minutes here. And again, just please fire away with questions, and we can stop and tackle any of them as they come along. So I've got 2 instances here. I've got one that has 20 sites, and then one that just has 1 site, and it's connected to my Falcon on my desk here with keypads. I kind of want to flip between the 2 to show you both. But this first one I want to show you has 20 different properties. And so you can see once you're verified and you've logged in, you then have access to take a look at any of the different sites that you have permission to view. So we can go into any of these, hit submit, and it will take us straight into the home page on that particular site. If you wanted to quickly change sites, you can do that as well by just clicking the top right, and you can just go down to another one. Again, you have to have permission to view these sites, and I'll show you how we can tweak that a little bit. We've kind of created some efficient ways to manage your manager's access to these different products. Now that they're in the cloud, there is some security that we have to kind of manage. So that is one of the things here, and let's see if it'll load for me. There we go. So I think one of the key pieces here, when we're talking about access from anywhere, it's going to be controlling doors and gates. It needs to be super simple, super quick to do. So going in here, you can see that your entry points are going to be listed in rows, and the status is going to be here. It'll say closed, open, held closed, held open, and corresponding quick buttons are on the far right-hand side that do the exact same thing. You then have the capability to bulk check all of your different entry points at one time, and that allows you to then up here hold open. You can hold open if you have construction on the property, or you could lock it down if there's some kind of perceived threat that's on the outside as well. So very, very easy to use there. And again, that corresponds with the StorLogix mobile app as well. You have the same capability there. And then I wanted to show you an event log. So I'm going to go over to my specific site that has some real live data on it and just show you some of the cool things you can do in here. So this is a standard event log, but there's a lot of data that's buried. And you can quickly search these different groups, these different columns by just selecting the column header. So if I clicked on name, that's going to correspond with this row. And let's go over here and see if I can do this. Come on. Got a little delay in my software right here at the moment, but I think it's mostly due to the video stream coming back towards me. So it should clear up in just a second. Once you have searched by name for any of these column headers, you can actually compound the searches, which I think is pretty cool. So you can pick specific dates, set those dates, and really drill down into specific information that you're looking for really quickly. One of the interesting things here as I clear that search out is that we have different filters that are actually a part of this software. So we've got 31, I think, different filters now for the event log. And you can see as I'm scrolling through here, there's a lot of different ways to carve up this information. You can even just specify elevator events. So if you have elevators on your property, you could just narrow it down to that. I'm not going to go through each one of these, but even all events, this is going to show you every detail of the software and the entire PTI system. Really, it's going to show you every relay firing. So you can get as granular as you want to, but it's going to default to the operational events. So you can see unknown codes that are entered, maybe that'll help you kind of narrow down who was trying to get in. If it's a code that's closely resembles a code you know, it obviously is going to show you the names, devices, access area. And then one of the interesting things here too is the real-time icons. So if you had a specific alarm that was going off, you could click this alarm icon as I just did, and you can see the filter in the event log changes to active alarm events. And that's accessible on any page. You don't have to be looking at the event log. And it would show you any COM errors, tampers, anything like that that would have just popped up. Another icon up here you can see is on-site users. So with a couple of clicks, it'll take you over to the on-site users list, which I just clicked. Yeah, my PC is struggling today. There we go. So you can see 2 users on the property, and definitely easy to clear them off as well if they're not here. If you don't have an exit keypad, sometimes you may have to do that. But so that's the access from anywhere piece. As I'd mentioned previously, there's portfolio management is really a big deal these days, and there has to be some kind of elegant ways to manage that. So one of the ways we've done that is through site hierarchy. And this is actually the single site, so I apologize. I'm going to go over to the site that has 20 properties and show you what that hierarchy is going to look like. I think I need to go wake up the hamster. He fell asleep. There we go. All right. So under the hierarchy, we've got the 20 different properties, and you can see that we've just kind of set these up and organized these in a typical way that a normal organization with this many sites would probably do it, just based on districts. And we would help you set these up on the day of install. And it's certainly not something you have to use, but we think it helps you manage your employees really, really well, actually, your entire operation in StorLogix. And what it does is these 2 tabs to the right are really connect with this. One of them is called security levels. And this is going to be roles that you provide your managers, your employees that use StorLogix. So you can see administrators, probably an IT or network director. Assistant manager is pretty obvious. And then manager might be the site manager. So if we were to take a look at roles and permissions that might apply to a site manager, you can see they probably need to see and control everything that has to do with users and tenants, but they may not need to set up units. These are default, and all of these can be changed based on your needs. But it is something that you need to take a look at least when we initially set up your operation, because it's going to make things much easier for you down the road. For example, setup occasionally this is a little overkill. You don't necessarily want to give employees permission to mess with inputs or relays. That's usually just isolated to system integrators, dealers, installers. But the point here is that there's a lot of ways you can do this, and it's all customizable. So I wanted to quickly show you security levels. And then operators. Operators is really just a user of StorLogix. So it's just a site manager, somebody logged into StorLogix that uses it. Is called an operator. And if we were to scroll down here and just take a look at an operator, you can see the site assignment actually corresponds directly with the hierarchy that we had just set up. And so for this operator, we would assign them based on their level. If they're a district manager over East, we would click East, and you can see all the sites under the East node actually light up blue. So now this particular operator can sign in to any of these sites. And if we wanted to give them physical access, we can do that quickly as well. We would just click, access level, and then create a code for each one of these. And then they would have not just software access, but actual physical access to each one of these properties as well. So a lot of really cool things here that you can quickly manage. The high turnover volume we know is sometimes challenging. And this is one way to kind of get around that and ease that operation a little bit. All right. So access from anywhere is massive. Portfolio management obviously is really, really key. But if you don't have real-time visibility and even historical visibility, then you don't really have a solution. So I'm going to go over to my specific site here that I can kind of control myself. And I wanted to show you some of the reporting that's capable in here. So we have a whole reporting suite that mimics very closely StorLogix Classic's reports. We know there were about 40 or so in Classic, and we have actually added each one of those plus a few others into the cloud offering as well. So you can see it defaults to the health check. Health check is a massive report. It's got, I don't know, maybe 10 different sections to it, but most of it has to do with your hardware, just making sure it's online, and that in any COM error that you've had over the past 30 days will show, things like that. All very valuable, very useful, easy to export to Excel or PDF. And the same is true for any one of these 40 reports that are in here. I'm not going to go into each one because they can get pretty in the weeds. But a lot of these are really great, like loitering. It's very useful. This typically is applied to sites that use exit keypads, because you kind of need to know how long the tenant's actually been on the property. But if you do have that, that's a useful report as well. You can see today's site activity. So a lot of different things we can do there. I think I do need to mention too that we have a pretty nimble development team. So if there is a report or if there's a feature in the software in general that you don't see that would help you run your operation in a more efficient way, please reach out to Ryan or any of the sales executives that you're used to talking to. They'll relay that information back to me, and we can put it in a development sprint and knock it out. And we've done that quite a few times, even in the past 2 months. So with that, I know I've talked through a whole lot here really quickly, but I did want to get through as much as possible during this call. Ryan, have there been any questions or anything we need to tackle?
Absolutely. No, there hasn't been any questions so far, which is not surprising because you do a fantastic job really explaining it and demonstrating the software. So, but again, any questions that do come to mind currently or during the rest of our time here, do type something into the chat. We'll be sure to address those, or of course, even if things come after the webinar, we're always available to answering questions. So do ask them if you have them, either now or later. But no, Nathan, everything's going perfect.
Good. So I actually do have a couple of other items I wanted to show. So I found Ryan and I had kind of been thinking through ways we could demo our mobile applications. And so one of the ways you can do that through the PC is obviously through an emulator. So I did find one that I wanted to use. There are a couple of challenges, so I'm just going to talk through a couple of the highlights here. But I think there's still enough value to take it this direction real quick. So the first one is Easy Code. This is our tenant-facing mobile app again. You will notice that the entry and exit buttons are missing. That is because I had previously mentioned that the application itself is based on a geofence, and so it will not show you buttons if you are not within the geofence for your specific site, which is a good thing. That's what you want. You do not want a customer opening your front gate from their house. But the problem in demoing this is that I do not have a geofence set up for my specific site, nor does my PC provide that GPS data back to the Google API that we use. So it's going to show like I'm not on property. But again, these are the tabs here. Let me hide this. You have access. So it would show every door and gate button that your tenant has access to. It's going to show unit information. So it'll show your tenant the unit number. There's also a payment link. This payment link, we are not processing payments, but we can click on it. I've got it actually connected to Google, so I'm going to click on it just to show you. This would go to your property management site or wherever you process payments. It could take them directly there, so they can do it from their phone. So let me go back now. Actually, I can just click out of this. I'll go to activity. Right here, this is the activity log that I was referring to earlier. So if I have been on the property on and off for a couple of years now, this is going to be a really long list that goes all the way down the page. And it's super easy to see that kind of information, very valuable for these tenants. And then the settings, I think this is kind of cool, actually. I'm not going to get super detailed, but just wanted to prove a point here. So your tenants can opt into the SMS notifications. This is going to show them an alert if your property uses unit door alarms. So that's kind of the catch, is that we need to know when the unit opens to manage the logic on the back end. And the unit door alarm is the way to do that. So talk to Ryan about that if you want to get that capability. I think that's a really, really great feature to have for your tenants. You can opt in or out. Same thing with email. So you can do either or neither. And then voice recognition is also one. So you can actually open the gate with your voice. That is something that is absolutely capable in both Android and iOS versions. You can switch on a bunch of different things. So I'm not going to continue down the list, but I did want to show you that there's a lot here for your tenants to kind of manage this. And then we can also customize your logo and do some different things. So it kind of has your brand and your feel to it. So that is Easy Code. And then I wanted to make sure we also highlighted StorLogix Mobile. Again, there is an iOS and an Android version. This is the Android version. So real quickly, you can see, if you remember, there were 2 users on site. This is also linked to that same site. So you can see that those same 2 users are visible here as well. If you want to get into the details of each one of these, you can actually drill down into information, which is really cool. So you can see what area they're in. You can see any user activity. So if I click this, it'll actually go into detailed lists of this particular tenant when they were on the property and what they did. So if I back out, you can see there are 2 access codes that are assigned to this tenant and the access levels. So back out of here. And then again, you can control the door and gate. So you can actually manually do that yourself. We have the event log, like I had mentioned. So every event is visible here, and you can see it's pretty massive there. And then the search function, you can search anything in this app, any record you want. You can search it really, really quickly and easily. If you have multiple sites, it's going to show your additional sites under this one. I've just got the one hooked up, but if I had multiple, you could then click that. You can see the add new site feature right there. Excuse me. And then the notification setting really is one of the reasons why I wanted to show you this. You can pick and choose what you want to be notified of. And again, this is a push notification. So it's going to pop up with like a little icon, like one of these. And then you would scroll down, just swipe down on your phone, and it would have the specifics in the details there. But you can be notified of any alarm that's activated, just the bad password. This really is the bad code entered. Delinquent tenants, if they're trying to get in, you can be notified then. It's going to send you all the details that are relevant too. It's not just going to say, hey, someone's trying to get in the front. It's going to say John Smith, delinquent, front gate, keypad 2. I mean, so you can really specify what's happening. And then access granted. So at night, maybe there's no 24-hour access tenants on your property, and you just want to be notified if anybody enters the property. You can do that as well. 5 units, you can also up to 5 units be notified on. So if you have a dangerous area on your property, maybe there's a back corner that's not hit by lights at night, or the gate doesn't quite cover a corner, you want to keep an eye on these. If you have unit door alarms, again, that's kind of the linchpin here. You can be notified of any activity at any time for anyone that you specify. So again, a lot of really cool things here, I think, since we can kind of quickly demo all of these different features. But these are the 3 that we've just highlighted, the 3 pieces to this cloud offering. StorLogix Cloud, easy code for your tenants, and StorLogix Mobile for your site managers. So I think that's a good spot. I think we're going to hit diminishing returns if we add any more. Ryan, back to you, man.
No, thank you, Nathan. That was perfect. Did a great job walking everybody through some demonstrations and features on not only StorLogix Cloud, but easy code and StorLogix Mobile, which, as Nathan mentioned a couple of times, they're all packaged together, right? It's all on the same cloud offering, all on the same platform to really give you that total solution. And Nathan really could spend the next several hours really going through and showing you all the different features and functions and capabilities. He gets excited about it. He and the team has done a great job continuing to develop the product. So no, we could spend a considerable amount of time going through there. So anybody on here that wants further demonstrations and get into the weeds, the rest of our team is standing at the ready to have that conversation with you. So we I think in wrapping up, because we don't have any questions that came through, just checked again. So yeah, no other questions, but we appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us here. There's some contact information for a couple different reps on the team on the screen right there, or if you work with other representatives on our team, feel free to reach out to them as well. And let's just set up a conversation and kind of discuss further how migrating your single or multiple sites to the cloud platform and the different offerings that brings you can be the right solution for the long term for you. So with that, I'll leave everybody back the rest of their day and on to the next sessions.